Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers, Omeji Cat Comet, Erizu Yamakawa, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Azuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Lily Black, Bob CC, Mikta Rabentau, Edwin, Arcadia Lunashine, Anathus Moonscar, Pamela Isley, Camille Grinno, Elenriel Maximus, Codrith Novelist, Mira Miri, Suno Chicano, Celestau Notrell, Lazy Boy, A Wild Sarah, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Stormarrow, Tex, Kai Lynn, Arthur Law, Biridan Derard, Signpup, Spencer Christmas, Noy Fafnir, Cheshire Saltiri, Celine DeLune, Bobs the Wolf, Severa, Circuit Barrackeel, AJ Brainswordson, Kazran, and Nat Clay. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorsians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 338. I'm Lakeel Braveston, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston, Mela Vanadar, and Rolodes.
Hello. Hi,
welcome.
hi.
Did you say 130?
Did I?
It's very Nordic of you.
Oh, I turned Nordic for a second. Welcome. It is February 18th, 2023, and today's main topics, Koji-Fox. It's mostly Koji-Fox today. We'll also be talking about the FanFest lottery stuff that's been announced, and we'll be reading your MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Stay tuned for the post-show. We'll be answering questions from the syndicate. And that's it. That's all we have for you today. So, well, actually, we're also going to talk about... Yes, believe it or not, there's a controversy this week as well, so stay tuned for that.
It keeps happening.
Yeah, it does keep happening. I don't know why. Let's jump into recent events.
Recent events.
Well. Let's first get some quick stuff out of the way. The Final Fantasy XIV Death Unto Dawn OST covering 5.1 through 5.55 is now available on Spotify and all other major streaming platforms. So you can stream these albums now.
The real soundtracks.
Yes, this is like the real stuff.
None of these EPs and remix ones.
None of that nonsense.
Black background, stylish front cover ones.
Yes.
I love these.
Yes, these are
fake
good.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So you can get those. You don't have to buy the album. You can listen. Stream
you don't have to buy the Blu-ray disc albums anymore.
Mela, they actually have Dolby Atmos. It feels like you're like there.
Can only play it on my PS5.
Yeah.
Dolby Atmos.
Yeah.
By the way, actually, did you see the trailer for this announcement?
For this announcement, no.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. But is it just the same as it has been in the past, where it's just 1 second of every song?
It's like Whiplash mode.
Yeah, but there's some like weird stuff going on. They have the Christmas song, right?
Yeah.
Like it plays the 1 second version of when you're doing well for the Christmas song.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the next one is the bad version of the Christmas song. And it's just the part where they're like, oh!
Yeah.
and then the screenshot that they have in game is just like the fucking 0 score mark on the mini game.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some really weird bits in that trailer. You should definitely watch it.
Absolutely. I think Yoshi, not Yoshi. I think Soken has a lot of fun just like messing around with making those trailers.
Yeah.
There's I forgot. There's one at like 2 minutes 40 seconds. I think that's also just like.
Rollo's really committed this.
Yeah. This was supposed to be a quick point on our.
Sorry, I was just
docs.
obsessed because I saw it and I was like, I mean, I just had it on the background. I don't know why I even watched it. I was just like, what the fuck's going on here?
I just think this is funny because I know for a fact we discussed this trailer essentially already before.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
we have.
Yeah, we have.
Wow, because
we
there was
did.
another one similar to that, where it was just wild.
But I love the idea that someone just listens to the bad version of the Starlight song. It's just something interesting about that.
Well, it's interesting because like that's an official record of that song, so you can always say yes, this song was in this soundtrack.
Yeah,
there are still songs in the game that I'm pretty sure aren't in any soundtrack. Like I don't know if the Lord of Dominion songs are on a soundtrack.
Right. True.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So
get on it. All right.
I'm going to keep an eye on the Spotify stats for the good choir version and the bad choir version.
Yeah, that would be interesting. You know that there's going to be people that are going to try to inflate that now.
So. It's going to have me soaking wet.
Okay. Chat couldn't even hear that. That was just for us. That was for all. I'll do it again for the audio listeners. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
Moving on. Well, it's happening.
News. This is a huge deal for American people.
Tickets are going on sale. But the twist this year is that it's lottery based. So you have to essentially sign up for the opportunity to purchase tickets. It's like buying a PS5.
This is apparently how they've always sold the JP fan.
We have covered this before.
In
JP, that's been. I think it's always been that way.
They like lottery systems in Japan because like you can get lottery tickets for like train tickets, like the first class train tickets and stuff. Plane tickets, a lottery base. It's
yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read the post here because this is important information. So let's not misquote here. Today, we would like to share Fan Festival 2023 in Las Vegas ticket details, including information on how players with active subscriptions will have a purchase priority ahead of general sales. We're excited to return to hosting in-person events and invite our Warriors of Light to celebrate with us in Las Vegas this July. The Fan Festival 2023 in Las Vegas teaser website is now live and offers prospective attendees a glimpse of what awaits them at the show. Visit the site to read over early show details and an FAQ covering important details. Tickets will cost, and here's the price, $199.99 USD per ticket.
That's steep.
Plus taxes and fees.
Oh.
All ticket sales are final, and an ID will be required to pick up tickets at the event. Ticket holders will receive access to the 2-day in-person event, which features an exclusive concert performance each evening that will not be streamed. A physical goodie bag featuring event-themed items will also be provided to attendees at the event. Well, that's always the case, Mela.
That's every time, Mela. But $199.99 is a $50 increase over last time.
So what goodies are we getting this time?
And you just
get to pick your venue, so I don't know. I hope it's nicer.
Yeah. Also, you just know that when we get to the EU one, they're just going to change the dollar sign to a euro sign.
Oh, yeah. And a pound sign.
It's what you guys deserve.
They better fucking not. I'm going to be so mad if that happens.
Yeah.
Also, it's what they deserve. The current plans were you were going to come to the EU one, rather.
I know.
Well, that has become increasingly less likely because it is very difficult. We don't even know if all 4 of us are going to get tickets.
Exactly.
Because it's a lottery now.
Only 2 of us need to win the lottery.
That's technically true. Yes. Yeah.
I did sign up for this one though because some friends convinced me to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I guess I might try and die in the fucking Vegas heat, baby.
May the odds ever be in your favor.
I'm gonna collect so much for
Vegas.
Also, let's
get dragged into the Nevada desert.
Let's talk about the player exclusive ticket purchase opt-in, which we're talking about right now. To ensure that we're serving the ever-growing community, we have worked to create our largest fan festival ever in North America. Our focus has been on accommodating a much larger audience this time, which has led to a desire to revamp the process of purchasing tickets. To avoid the rush and long queues we expect during online ticket sales, we have chosen to simplify the experience by first asking interested players to indicate their desire to purchase tickets by opting into a random drawing. During this period, players with active subscriptions who possess a North American Square Enix account simply need to register their desire to purchase via our application form while it is available. Now, the application period opened on the 17th, so yesterday for us, through Saturday, February 25th. So you have a week.
It'll still be open by the time this is on YouTube.
Yeah, so don't panic.
And just once again, there's no order or rush. It's within that period.
Yes, it's like housing lottery.
Yeah, so there's no rush.
Right. Registering your desire to purchase tickets does not guarantee you will be selected to receive an access code. Being selected to receive an access code does not require you to make a ticket purchase. However, we do ask that you register your interest only if you're planning to make a purchase.
Nope.
After the application form closes, a drawing will be held and players who are selected will be contacted by Friday, March 3rd, 2023 via the email address registered to the Square Enix account used in the application process. An announcement will also be posted to the English Final Fantasy XIV Twitter account once the selection notification emails have all been dispatched to the selected players. Access.
Such a long period of time between the end of the lottery and when they announce or send the emails.
Well, they have to draw first, so it's like a week. February is a short.
This is a country that still uses fax machines.
Yeah.
I mean, Mailer, they've shown in game they can do this instantaneously. So I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't think they're using the housing system for this draw. That would be funny.
I think they have everyone's name on a ball, and they use an actual lottery machine.
And the winning number is 0.
It just reminds me of during the wars when they'd use that to determine which day of the month you would be drafted.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, God.
That is true.
I'll tell you right now, I'd be the biggest draft dodger. Man.
I'm with you, Rollo.
Okay, access code emails will be delivered from the no reply at xmail.squareenix.com email address. So be on the lookout for emails from that address. We also recommend
Xmail.
Yeah, they use Xmail. Yeah,
I would be suspicious if I got anything from
I think that looks very fake to me. That looks like a scam email.
I agree.
Sounds like a porno site.
It does a little.
It does.
And no reply Xmail.
We also recommend that players check any spam, junk, or promotion mailboxes once the dispatch completion announcement has been made.
Yep.
Note that players who are not selected will not be contacted.
A little bit harsh, but
yeah,
it's just like when you fail to complete. When you fail to be selected for a job application.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Ticket purchase website. FanFestival 2023 in Las Vegas tickets will be sold via the ShowClicks event website, according to the methods and schedules outlined below. Note that the website may be unavailable until closer to the purchase timeframe. So, players who have been selected will receive a one-time use access code that will grant the ability to purchase up to 2 tickets during the player-exclusive ticket window.
One-time use.
You better want to buy them that second.
Don't click off that page after that.
Jesus Christ.
That's the scariest part.
Yeah. Players who possess a unique access code will not need to rush to purchase tickets immediately upon commencement of sales, as the player-exclusive purchase window will last for several days, and there will be adequate tickets on sale to ensure that every player with a code can purchase up to 2 tickets. Once again, tickets can be purchased at any time during the week-long period, as long as the player possesses the required code.
I don't know if it's a wording issue, but I'll just say, Square Enix, if you can, just make it so there's like a flag on an email. So if you've bought tickets, you obviously can't buy more. But the one-time link is a very bad idea on a potentially bad website that will break and go down.
Make it very clear that link is the link you click and when you're ready to buy the ticket. Because otherwise,
or just make it
I'll be like,
strict.
"Ooh, I'll click this. I'll have to check."
Mailer made a good point. Like, you better make sure your website is fucking secure. That it won't break while someone is trying to use their one-time access code.
Well, this will be a disaster if it works like they've said that and the website goes down.
Well, I'm sure that ShowClicks. I mean, that's not a Square Enix run website, so they're probably used to this.
Yeah.
So
I'm
sure.
So.
I bet I hope so. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Yes. So player exclusive ticket purchase period with code Monday, March 6th to Monday, March 13th. So a week.
Long period of time.
About general sales, any unsold tickets after the player exclusive ticket purchase period ends will be sold during the general sales period. This general sales period will not require a unique access code, and tickets will be sold on a first come first served basis until sold out. Tickets will not be available for purchase on site at the event itself. Now you have to remember that come general sales, who's gonna most players are going to enter the lottery, surely.
Yeah, but you might not get picked.
You might not
get picked. You'll try on the generals.
Well, I mean, you never know who's gonna go to, depending on what their venue size is as well. Because I mean,
yeah, I'm just saying, general sales is not. That's gonna be rough.
Don't count on it. But
no,
it might be your second chance.
That is your last. Yeah, that is it. Yeah. If you don't get picked, there's always general sales. But
I'll be very surprised if there are any tickets left.
Yeah, I'll be very. Well, I think there'll probably be some leftover tickets because not everyone's going to buy 2 tickets.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So there's
going to be a maximum half the venue capacity.
Yeah,
in all likelihood, less than that.
Yeah. But during the general sales, that website's gonna fucking kneel. It's gonna have some trouble. Okay.
I like the disclaimer: tickets will not be available to purchase on site at the event itself. I'm just imagining someone rocking up to Vegas. Saying, hey,
yes, FanFest,
$200.
Yeah.
Let me in.
Yeah.
This seems neat. What's going on here? It's like a Vegas thing.
Okay.
And then again, they go to the gold saucer section straight away, like, oh, Vegas, yeah.
Yeah.
General. Why do they have to host in July though? I hate it so much.
Someone has to.
Suffer.
July is peak Vegas weather.
It's the best time to go to Vegas.
Best time to die.
Okay, so for general sales, remember the player exclusive ticket purchase ends on the 13th, and general sales opens on March 15th at 9 a.m. PDT. It is possible that the entire stock of tickets may be sold during the player exclusive purchase period, it says, and no tickets will remain for the general sales period. We recommend applying during the player exclusive ticket purchase period.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember how many players there are now in this game. We have never had a fan fest with this amount of, this big of a player base.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I mean, well, that's technically true that they could all sell out during the player exclusive purchase period. I don't see that happening.
I don't know. I don't know this year around because we're so many.
You think everyone's going to buy 2 tickets?
No, but how can they know how many players are going to apply for the ticket? How do they know?
Well, that is true. They say that there's going to be enough for everyone.
They can't guarantee it either way, because what if 50, what if 10 million people apply?
Let's just say the maximum capacity will be given the option to buy, or half the maximum capacity.
If there's 1 million people that apply for a ticket.
Well, yeah, not that everyone that applies for the lottery will get it, but there'll definitely be tickets available during the general sales period, whether or not that's.
They literally say that they may not be.
I know
that's on the assumption that everyone buys 2.
Everyone that got through in the lottery bought 2 because they said that during that period there has to be enough for everyone to buy 2.
Yeah, buy 2.
But I don't think everyone will buy 2.
But don't you think the system, because they have a week
before they draw?
No,
it won't be a rolling. It won't be a rolling.
Oh, it won't roll?
Redraw. There's only one draw.
Yeah.
Do we know that?
Or one. Yeah.
Well, they only say there's only one drawing period.
Yeah, and then as soon as the period's drawn, everyone will get the one-time use password, and they can buy up to 2 tickets, and there will be definitely enough tickets for everyone to buy up to 2.
Oh, okay. I thought they would.
If what you're saying is true,
I thought they had a pool. I thought maybe they had a pool of tickets, and they wanted to get them out, and then they drew, and then people purchased, and then whatever was left, they drew.
I don't think so.
That's what I would have done, but. Okay, Square Enix does not do that.
I agree with you, but I also think they might not have the system to do that.
No. During the player-exclusive purchase period, the access code can be used a single time to purchase a maximum of 2 tickets. During the potential,
not a good system.
During the potential general sales period, a maximum of 2 tickets can be purchased per order.
How about during the player limited purchase period, the access code can be used as often as you like to purchase a maximum of 2 tickets.
Yeah.
One time only. So you can go on the website twice and it's just, oh yeah, I definitely bought my 2 tickets. Thank God.
I mean, that would definitely be preferable, Mailer, but this website sounds pretty spaghetti too, to be honest.
Yeah. When you say 1 million players active across the globe at a time, yeah. But a lot of people will come even who are not active. Like, a lot of people go to events for...
A lot of people will activate their subs just so that they can get tickets to this.
Yeah. But they're very extremely casual, but they still want to go to the convention or fan festival. All right, let's see. That's it. Once you've read over the above, so go to the Lodestone for all information on that. Good luck, everyone. The lottery begins. Okay, Rollo, you are muted. Very muted.
Fuck. I was just saying, if you see me dead in the desert, just I had a good time. That's all you know.
Okay. All right. Well, that's that. We can probably assume. Can we get because the European one is obviously next for the draw.
It's very likely to be the same system.
Yeah, but it's probably going to happen in April, May.
Yeah.
The Vegas one is in July, so that, and then the European one is in October, so it'll be 3 months later. So yeah. April or May.
Yeah.
But that's nicer because this time we don't need to do what we did last time. Somehow still get tickets and then just sit there going.
Let me tell you, that was the most frustrating Discord conversation I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go if you go. No, yeah, if you go, I'll go.
Let's not go. Let's not go.
Yeah.
But we'll go this time.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna go. What happened?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I just imagined Mela not just going, let's do it. I'll buy a ticket, and then Mela's not going, and then I'll be there alone at the convention. We wouldn't even be able to cover it.
That would be so funny.
Don't worry, I will buy a ticket, Lakil, if I can get in.
Okay, good.
I will buy a ticket.
People are questioning. I've seen people questioning my ability to enter the European one. Australian service accounts have always been included in the European populace.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're European accounts.
Yes.
But without any of the European privileges.
I'll have to pay one of you guys to get me a ticket.
Yeah,
if you're able.
Well,
yeah. But we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, moving on. We have some more notice. This is an update on what we covered a few weeks ago about purchases and subscriptions.
That was a good topic. So
it's a scary topic because
it's weird.
Yeah. Because we talked about how they're going to change some, they're going to remove some payment options, and you might get problems with your bank. And if you do, Square Enix will hold you accountable and destroy your account. So here is the follow-up on that. We wanted to provide an update to the list of existing payment methods that will no longer be available following the payment processor change. While we hope to reintroduce some of the discontinued payment methods over time, we recommend considering alternate payment methods in the meantime. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Please see below for affected payment methods. Unavailable payment methods. Discover, JCB, Carte Bleu, SEPA, SoFort, SEPA.
That's really the only part that's new here. If you
Discover?
Look below.
Oh.
Yeah, Discover is the only thing that's added here.
But
they've added Discover.
It's newly unavailable.
Keep that in mind.
Is Discover a credit card thing?
I've heard of Discover.
I have heard it too. Yeah.
It's like a credit card. It's kind of embarrassing if you have one.
Oh, is it?
Wow.
Okay. Shame on. Okay, well, you can't use it in 14.
It used to be like.
Is it a very bad deal? What is?
No, it's just that they accept more people than others.
Oh, so it's like a bank that people maybe who have a lower credit score would get.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, and it's we don't. It's also accepted in slightly less places too. So.
Okay. Well, it's certainly not accepted here anymore.
No. Available payment methods then: Visa, MasterCard, American Express, PayPal, Amazon Pay, and PaySafeCard. That's it. There you go. If you have Discover for some reason tied to your subscription, get that. Well, it's unavailable now, so make sure you update it before the next billing cycle.
Get a new Discover card. Use code speakers for entry 0% entry level APR for 1 year.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Oh, okay. Next story. Well.
Guys.
We're here now. We've arrived. We covered this, month ago, 2 months ago, whenever they added this outfit. And I said, "Oh, this looks very Saami. It's called Far Northern Attire. It's clearly inspired by the Saami." I thought, as a Norwegian, I felt I got bad vibes from this. But then I got I felt like it didn't go anywhere. Like I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. It's too big. It's too like it's it's fine. No, it's not fine apparently. So the Saami Council is now demanding Square Enix to remove this attire from the game. Okay. So
I think it's worth just
should I just read their statement?
Who the Saami Council are. The Saami Council are a volunteer body.
I'll explain it, but let's just read their statement first, because I think that's what a lot of people... Yeah. Okay. The Saami Council has, in a letter to the media company Square Enix, demanded that they immediately remove the Final Fantasy XIV Far Northern Attire and engage in meaningful dialogue with the Saami people. This is not about sensitivity or whether the depiction is appropriate. These elements are Saami cultural property, and Square Enix has infringed on our rights, says President of the Saami Council, Aslak Holmberg. The Saami people's position has been made very clear, Holmberg continues, particularly to entertainment companies, specifically in the agreement that the Saami people have with Walt Disney Animation Studios. This is a quote from that. They have released this deal. This was for Frozen 2. They have released that in full. It is the position of the Saami that their collective and individual culture, including aesthetic elements, music, language, stories, histories, and other traditional cultural expressions, are property that belongs to the Saami. Our cultural property rights are not theoretical. They are protected and protectable under intellectual property laws, which are generally harmonized throughout the world. Square Enix, as a media company, is highly aware of intellectual property laws and has no excuse for this blatant violation of Saami cultural property, Holmberg continues. The Saami Council is of the opinion that the issue is particularly damaging because Saami clothing traditions are not merely aesthetic, they carry the significance of being specific elements of Saami identity, with meaning, content, and context. By creating this product, Square Enix has allowed their 41 million players to dress up as a Saami people, clothe themselves in the Saami identity without our consent, and contribute to the erosion of our culture. While the gaming industry has become more open, welcoming, and sensitive to the needs of non-majority gamers, specifically in terms of alternative lifestyles, gender identities, and support of women gamers, the Saami Council is disappointed that Square Enix did not even lightly consider the rights of the Saami people in relation to this product. The Saami Council emphasizes that we appreciate proper and appropriate collaborations and have a deep history of finding ways to collaborate with entertainment companies on the use of Saami cultural properties. However, there is a proper and appropriate way to establish, maintain, and enforce these collaborations to ensure that all necessary elements are fulfilled. The Saami Council hopes that this situation will advance the discussion of the rights of indigenous people to their cultural properties and look forward to a productive dialogue with all industries, Holmberg concludes. Okay, and what is the Saami Council, before we do this discussion? The Saami Council, in Norway, Sweden, and Finland, there are, and to some degree Russia, there are autonomous, the Saami people have parliaments. There's something called the Saami Parliament in at least the Nordic
government bodies.
They're essentially government bodies that have cultural. They have authority on they have absolute, not absolute authority, but they're like the primary authority on everything.
They can enact
Saami.
change.
Yes, they will forward stuff to our actual parliaments, and then we have to deal with that has to be processed. But the council is not the Saami Parliament. The Saami Council is a separate body that it's kind of like.
It's an elective voluntary organization. I think the difference is the parliaments represent within each country, whereas the Saami Council represents the cultural identity over Norway, Sweden, Finland, and
Russia,
the Kola Peninsula.
Yeah. So it's a difficult.
They don't really have any power necessarily, but they can bring the will of who they represent to the people who can.
To the parliaments, yeah.
Yes.
The other issue is that they're referencing an agreement they have specifically with the Walt Disney Company, which is not a specific copyright on the clothing that they're referring to.
But I have seen a lot of stuff that's going around, and I see it in chat as well. There is talks about money, and the Saami Council has released the deal they had with Disney, and at no point does it mention money in the clause. What would the council do with money? Where does that money go? How does that benefit the Saami people? What they want is to have actual Saami people help make it more appropriate, because a problem with the Saami culture is that Norway, and to some degree Sweden and Finland, we tried to remove them. We tried to destroy and we have successfully destroyed multiple parts of the Saami culture. There are some that is just lost forever. So to them, this is, another because there's no doubt that this is.
It's inspired.
It is inspired by
what
Saami.
You were saying,
absolutely.
You were saying that they would, very strangely for this sort of issue, but they would prefer it to be more accurate. And actually
that's what they want
of Agokti.
Because a lot of people now think this is Saami. We've already done it, right? So now they think, that's what a Saami outfit looks like, which is not exactly what it looks like. It's just vaguely like what it looks like. So it's already that cultural erosion is kind of happening already.
Because there's that, from what I've read, there's the thing where Saami have been associated with Christian holidays, and that kind of stuff, which they don't want, you know, like that. So I can see why they want to try and exert some more control over that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say that. I'm not a legal expert, especially not an international copyright law. The least qualified person, I'm sure. And I don't think this is a threat or something.
No.
I think this is them.
They're doing their job.
They're working within the systems that are present. Again, I don't know how much, if I think copyright law in general is fucked up and stupid and very destructive. But I could see them trying to use this to just maybe further some of their indigenous goals and kind of open the narrative.
I see that 80% of the player base doesn't give a fuck. There are less than 100,000 Saamis in the entire world. Of course, I don't understand why people are talking about the player base caring. It's not about the player base.
I think one of the biggest issues of this statement was, and especially the Twitter post they put on, there was a very aggressive tone from the Saami Council, but the goal that they wanted is very benign. All they really
it's
want
a very
is
aggressive
or
dramatic.
Get a better representation, but they come across so antagonistic that people are going to go against that. It's natural to
they specifically use the term cultural property rights.
That wording.
They quoted Square Enix as saying that mining indigenous cultures is
legitimate,
not legitimate, which is a quote that they've kept to themselves, because apparently Square Enix responded to them in a letter in January, and they've not released that.
Yeah,
which they should really.
Well, they might. Remember, this happened on the 16th, so it's pretty fresh, 2 days ago. So this is a developing situation, if anything. What I worry is that this will be forwarded to the Saami parliament, and then we really got shit going. Because
that will... Yes.
That makes it a legal case in our countries, which can involve a lot of things. So I don't want that to happen. But yeah. I think they're using the word like property rights, because if you think about it, we can't really steal anything online, right?
Yeah.
That's illegal. We can't use copyrighted music. We can't use copyrighted imagery, but for some reason we can steal protected cultural clothing. I think that's what they're trying to do. Obviously, remember, this Saami Council, this is their job. They're the watchdog. They're supposed to bark when something is like
you could argue that this is like a fault in how, well, as Rollo was saying, there's a lot of issues with copyright law. The fact that you can't, like, particularly for like cultures that are shrinking or essentially like have been shrunk as a result of the actions of like sovereign nations, they don't have the level of control over their cultural identity in the same way that, like, say for example, if Square Enix decided to make an outfit that was inspired by like I don't know, this, as to take an example from chat, like the Scottish Highland,
right?
Like there is not that level of ownership,
right,
over the identity.
Yeah, there's a lot of this. A lot of people. It's hard to explain this because remember, this is the Saami people that, like, they're from the Nordics, which is already a small region. You don't even know. Most people don't even know that it's called the Nordic region, right? So, trying to like explain why this hurts for them is difficult because most of you don't know, and I'm not going to sit here and explain it. You're gonna. I mean, yeah, there are people today that are hiding the fact that they're Saami, that live in south of Norway. Like they change they throw away their family name just to hide the fact that they're Saami. It's still like an ongoing issue.
I think another important thing to say too was this kind of stuff. I know I remember reading some of the comments or like I think on the last time we talked about it, or it might have been a Reddit thread, I don't quite remember, where a lot of people were saying stuff like, well, I asked a Saami guy in my city how he felt about it. He thought it was cool.
Yeah. I did that.
And yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, of course.
Right.
But I think it's kind of we should try and consider maybe like people like a Saami person living in a major city in Norway does not face the same kind of maybe issues or maybe stronger ties. I don't like to the culture as if like someone who was, a reindeer herder.
Well, like far up north, like living being a reindeer herder. Yeah.
Not saying that they're less Saami, but like they're facing different.
Well, it's that cultural erosion thing where a lot of most Saamis live here in the southern part of Norway, and they don't do any of the Saami things. In fact, most of them have abandoned their names, like to better fit in, and don't have to deal with like Saami hate, which is a real thing here. So that's it's.
And I they aren't even saying the outfit's offensive either.
No,
I know some people. They
would have they wish they had been contacted.
They wanted to be contacted so they can work with Square Enix to make the outfit look more like
they provide advice for free because if it was done properly, that's good for them, right?
To address something that was said in chat though, then there comes into the question of like, is the idea of like an explicit like equivalent of Saami culture supposed to exist in Eorzea? Because like then you get into like weird like law crossover stuff, which is like beyond the point of this conversation.
But it is strange that this was introduced, considering there is no precedent for this outfit to be in the game. Yeah, this culture.
But you can have one-to-one representation of a specific Gokti, and again, there's many different types. So, but whichever one the Saami Council wanted to include, and still make it fully within lore and not actually.
Yeah.
It just looks like it.
Yeah. That's fine. They would be fine with a Saami outfit. I'm 100% sure, and I know, So
Frozen 2 didn't actually happen.
Yeah, but then
but it's a representation of their culture in a nice way that they appreciate.
Then there comes into the question of like, would Square Enix want something that is an exact representation of something that is in real life? In which case, they would have to consider whether they want to cooperate with the Saami Council, which ideally they would, or would they prefer to like ignore them or remove the outfit from the game.
Well, if they choose to ignore them, and this is an indication of what we're about to find for like in further parts of Ilsebard or whatever, then this is not over. this battle will continue and will probably go to the parliaments eventually. Yes, Robert.
There's maybe it could make a bit more sense if we use some other cultures that maybe people know of a bit more, because there have been some similar situations like this in other video games. I mean, there are a ton of indigenous advocacy groups like all over the world, and they do similar things. For example, I cannot remember the name of the game for life of me. I'm sorry. Maybe it was Apex Legends.
Okay.
Maybe. There's a Maori character in it, and they have like the Maori tattoos, which is a pretty important cultural thing to them. Nothing wrong with like putting that kind of stuff in games. That's cool. Everyone likes to see, different culture characters and all that.
Yeah.
But you can't just draw random shit on someone's face,
right?
And then say that's the Maori thing,
right?
But I would like.
Yeah.
My argument against that would be that like Apex Legends is based in the real world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's explicitly a Maori character,
right?
But and like there's like a cultural importance that like none of us would know the context of,
right?
And another game. No one knows this game. I don't even know why I'm saying it. But Prey 2006.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's a game starring a Native American man. And it has a lot of all the characters are Native American and aliens. As far as I remember, that game was also developed with like an advisory from indigenous people too, just so that they don't fall into the stereotypes,
right?
That, like, people, or like just kind of make it more in line with what's actually going on, instead of just like Native American people are spiritual. Here's
right,
they tied a lot of cultural stuff, and it's a mutually beneficial thing. For the culture and for the game. I mean, it gets more credentials, I say it that way, and it makes it a good representation. I'm not saying everything has to go like that every single time for every little bit of culture at the games,
right?
But like in a situation like this where they put out the item and there's some reactions here and there. But as far as like indigenous groups, don't say anything. But then here they are, like reaching out in a way.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to try and respect that. Like all of us here, we don't know what a Gokti means to someone,
right?
Like to a Saami person. We have no ties to that. I'm assuming our cultures don't have anything similar,
right?
So I think it's a simple request.
Yes.
And I mean, if you're going to believe a guy on Reddit that says, I'm Saami, I don't care. Maybe you can listen to the council.
They're supposed to represent the Saami, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like, regardless of whether like 1, 2, or however many people are okay with it, you should never like discount the opinions of those that aren't okay with it.
Yeah.
They're all people. Even if 90% of Saami loved it.
Yeah.
The council have brought it to attention. There's still 10% of people who might not. So
it's just a strange process how this has happened, because surely they must have been like, okay, we need a new outfit. and then someone just Google indigenous clothing and just found the Saami website, be like, oh, Saami, we'll do that one, and just not think about anything about like the culture they're about to steal from.
I would argue that's not necessarily unlikely, but also
that's a problem because you should do some more investigation.
I would think that I mean, see, that's the thing. Like in some parts of the world, like that's common sense that like you would steal. You would start a dialogue.
Yeah,
right.
Like I'm talking about us, right? Our cultures. Like you would start a dialogue with the cultures that you are seeking to like include or utilize in your particular story or world. I think in other places that might not be the case. For example, in Japan, they might not consider it like the first thing you would do is to ask the culture that you are interacting with or like making use of in your game.
Yeah.
I'm generally of the opinion that all fantasy, like someone I think made in chat said, is derived from real world cultures. I love seeing real world things twisted in, like, pulled into a fantasy setting and utilized in a different way or whatever. I like that. And
they were able to do that.
Instances in this game where there are clear real world examples, like we all remember the Heavens Were New World set, which had issues at the time. There was no sort of reaching out from any Native American organizations, which is fine if they didn't want to. They could have. Yeah. But the fact that these people have just seems like you should go for it because it's a free example. I mean, there's on the nose stuff in this game. Like we know, like the Korean wartime outfit doesn't make people happy.
That's wild. That's
elephants,
and we even say it. We say it's uncomfortable even
clothing,
for us.
Which is a little bit on the nose.
Yeah.
I'm imagining that doesn't go down super well all the time, but
and I feel like the dangers too of like not like I would say in general this is a pretty mild case of like just no cultural awareness of it, which I wouldn't blame anyone for. Like, I don't know.
They tried to make it. It's clearly inspired, and that's fine. But the fact that there's literally a hand's been held out saying, "Please just open a dialogue with us." Just do it.
Well, they declined. That's the
did.
important detail here. They declined to do that. They said no.
I wouldn't be like, obviously they have. I would like to see the letter that the Saami Council received from Square Enix. I would suspect that at Square Enix, it's entirely possible that whoever had the idea for this outfit didn't even know that like the Saami people existed, and that they could have thought, for all they know, that like like the Aztecs, they don't exist anymore. Like I wouldn't be surprised if someone thought that, and like thought that like we can make use of this. The question, one of the biggest issues would be how much have they planned for this to be relevant going forward? Like the fact that this is on the Mog Station as like a purchasable item makes me think that it's not going to be very relevant going forward at all. But like if they have like strongly tied this like melded culture that might not even just be like based on the Saami, like they might have like grafted multiple like northern cultures together, and like this is the only one we've seen so far. But they already have this entire lore ready for the future. Like that would be an issue, and like I would be curious to see how they would resolve it.
I think that's remember
they call it Far Northern.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, because
so it is clearly
this
meant
Far
to
Northern
be
culture that they've started to conceive at this point, because clearly they've given us an outfit of them. Like, what if this is only one thing they wear and like it has no cultural importance to the in-game culture without any consideration for what it means to the people in our world?
If there's expansion on it, because there are things they do, like the Guardian Empire is Roman inspired. But they live in the frozen tundra.
And there's also aspects of it that are like Russian.
Yeah. So there's some parts that maybe do focus on the real and some that are completely off. Like the Romans didn't live in a tundra.
I'm trying to remember. the culture in Shadowbringers with the Tupac. That's just straight up based off like the Amaro. Sorry, the Amaro dragon.
Oh, right.
Just like basically one for one lifted from indigenous South American. I can't remember the group. I'm sorry,
right.
But it is like Tupac Amaros are like a thing.
Okay.
And like in Ronkan culture.
Yeah. Oh, the Ronkans.
Yeah, like it is. And
yeah, that was 100% Incan, like that sort of culture.
Well, the
Ronka. Well, it's not just Incan. Like Ronka is an example of something that. Yeah, Ronka was another example I was thinking of when I was thinking of like a culture that like they've blended together to make something to put in their game.
Because it's got Aztec vibes.
Yeah.
Incan Mayan, but it's like just conglomerate old Southern
The issue
America.
is that like they've seemingly, well, we know that they have taken aspects of a culture that is still extant rather than that what was the case with Ronka.
Yes.
Like there are still people who can speak Mayan, but they're not living that culture anymore.
Right.
I mean, there are people that are still speaking Latin, but that doesn't mean
exactly. So
they're living that Roman Empire.
I wish they were.
And also, just
to
remember, I just want to bring up Frozen 2 again because they actually posted the deal that they have with Disney. They changed what they do not look like Saami, like straight up, right? So they've done the correct. They've just been advising them on how to like respect the culture more in a way that's not offensive to Saami. That's all it takes. You don't even have to. The hand that they've stretched out does not mean you have to make them look like a Koft or a Gokti, but they can help
see
them
what they want to say. Just like what's wrong with it.
Yeah, it's so aggressive, such an aggressive tone, and that's what I think a lot of people got pissy about. I'm not going to be,
No one likes, because if this is a big thing these days.
Yeah.
So people don't want to see it.
But just let it be clear. There is no mention of money here. This is is an official like council that is already funded through like other means. I don't know how, but they don't need the money.
The reason people are responding negatively is because it's very accusatory, and no one wants to feel like they have done something wrong.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which like the people defending it aren't even directly involved, and I guess unless you could argue that the people that purchased it could be involved.
No.
But like these are people that are taking like tangential ownership of like Square Enix and Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
If you bought this outfit because you like it, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
No.
You don't need to feel guilty because it doesn't fully represent the Saami culture. This is between Square Enix and the Saami Council.
Yeah.
And if any changes have to be made to the outfit, they will just sort that out.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine.
And I'll say this again too, because we said this last time we talked about it, and people still made the same comments. Comparing this to to hegemonic cultures, mainstream Bavarians, Dirndls, not the same as like oppressed smaller cultures. At I'm sure it is cool if you're like, I don't know, a Spanish dude, and you're like, yo, they put Spain in Pokemon,
right?
Like that's not the same,
right?
As like fucking they made like, I don't know, weird Navajo Pokemon that didn't make any sense.
Right.
And I think another thing to consider too, especially with some of the other things that have happened before, like the kind of other cultural items, like the New World set, is not all of these cultures or indigenous groups have like power or like a voice or even a strong voice to even reach someone like Square Enix. Like
the New World set, I would argue, is like potentially even more like divisive in the sense that like there are many different indigenous tribes to North America. They might not even all agree on the presentation of the New World set in 14.
And that's a war bonnet too. That's not like, I mean, I feel like we're in either the stage of society or like cultural know-how that we know maybe dressing up as like a Native American with a war bonnet is like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's
like,
what we saw in the films.
Yeah. And I think it's okay to like not know that. It's okay to just like be ignorant. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's okay. Yeah. You can't help being ignorant.
Yeah. But if someone tells you like maybe reconsider this, or like maybe like our culture doesn't like the way it's presented and like we want to talk about it or something, or like we prefer it just gone at all.
Yeah.
Or you know, like it's worth to listen.
Yeah.
You know,
it's certainly worth to listen.
Also,
at the end of the day, Square Enix doesn't have to do anything
that's
that
true.
Been told to do.
Well, also, this is an important note, because I've seen a lot of people are twisting this a lot. Remember that this announcement was made after Square Enix declined this was happening privately or like in the background before they took this step.
That's what there's been said. There's no evidence of the letters.
Yes. No. Maybe I have a bias because I'm from here, but I feel like they wouldn't do this unless the reply was
unlikely,
not.
But I want to see the reply. Yeah. Well, actually, no, I want to see both letters.
Yeah.
This is a public. I mean, we can. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to request it to be released, but
I would like.
I would assume that like the Saami Council is a very reputable organization, and then like upon questioning would be able to provide the information that they have actually been communicating with Square Enix.
Yes.
If they were making it up, that would be a very, very, very bad look for them.
And once again, if you want, you can read the contract that they made with Disney. It's on the announcement from the Saami Council, and at no point in that deal does it say, during benefit sharing, does it say monetary benefits. No. So this money rumor that's being thrown around is false. Okay?
The reason money comes into it is because they are invoking, like, they're saying cultural property, but like it's kind of being presented in a, like, it's a problem with the way that this is framed.
Yes.
It's being presented in a way that like it's of an equivalence with intellectual property.
Yes.
Yeah. And the wording in there sounds like they're saying, because you're selling this for money, we need to come to an agreement or something, is why people are going,
but people are quoting the Disney thing as a ground to say that, because they're out after money again. They saw the dollar signs. Not true. What are they going to do with that money? Build a new council hall? Like what?
For more Saami?
Yeah.
That's so terrible.
Yeah, horrible.
I'm sure there are Saami charities that will do something. But
I'm sure there are things they could do with money.
Yeah. But they don't need it.
But they're not going to be like they're not rich people in the Saami Council.
They're not going to go and buy loads of yachts and mansions and stuff.
No.
No.
I know people get really hung up on the aggressiveness too, but like, I think they have a right to be upset, like, and express that. Like,
they can.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
your tone definitely has some. You know, if you're going in with an aggressive tone, people are going to react in a certain way. There's always, you should always consider your words if you're doing something like this as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is how they chose to express it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong. Hey. Even honestly, even if it was about money, I would say there's nothing wrong with that, because like I think.
Yeah, I probably agree.
Yeah,
like profiting off of, like, you know, it's $18 outfit.
Yeah,
something. It's a digital game like that. I think that could feel really shitty as like a minority culture or you know, indigenous group who's been who's
still experiencing discrimination where they live. Yeah.
Like, and with things, I'm sure institutions that they run or could be underfunded or all that, and seeing that could be like a real, like, even if it's not intentional from Square Enix or Yoshi P or whoever made this, it can really, I think, open up older wounds and exacerbate current problems.
I think we need to see the reply from Square Enix. I think that is what was gonna.
Yeah, because if they've really used words like saying, we would like to legitimize the mining of your culture, that's a strong thing to say.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's more like,
well, it's important to note, let's not misquote that too. That was not a quote. Only the word legitimate was quoted.
So we need to know the ins and outs of those documents.
Yes.
To really understand the situation between them.
again, we don't need anything. That's up to Square Enix and the Saami Council, to be fair. The public shouldn't have any say in this, really. But
if we want an opinion on it, we need all the facts.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're just speculating.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we'll see where this goes. Hopefully, they can sort it out. But
I hope they can come to a beneficial agreement that makes everyone happy.
Yeah. The outfit's not going to be removed. And I doubt they're going to make any changes to it now that it's already sold. They can't really do that. So
they can change an outfit's look.
Can they after you've purchased? That would break some EU laws? I think.
I could see them maybe redesigning it.
That's true. If it breaks laws, though, that.
Yeah, because that will be like false advertising because you've bought a product and then all of a sudden it's changed.
They'd have to offer a refund to everyone who didn't want to accept it.
Yeah, I would think they would have to offer.
Yeah. I think it's kind of, I mean, I guess they should offer a refund in good faith, but I think
like
the terms of service
don't mess with European law, Ron.
Yeah, I do think terms of service would state that they don't have to, but yeah, I think that there are laws that
I think EU laws specifically
maybe in some countries they can do that, but the EU would not.
They don't fuck around.
Yeah, do not mess with EU law.
No,
that's good. Again. Yeah. The last person asked for legal advice,
right?
Especially concerning copyright law,
right?
Cultural copyright law,
copyright law is awful.
Yeah, I think they've. You know what? They've succeeded because they brought a conversation up about the Saami. So there you go, and about indigenous people. So there you go.
The only reason a lot of people have learned more about Saami is because of issues surrounding this outfit, which is a shame in a way.
Yes.
Because it would be nicer if they learned about the Saami in a more positive environment.
Well, that's what the council wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but at least more people know about the Saami and how cool they are.
Yeah. Do some research on the Saami. It's very interesting and horrible
They're very
story.
Cool people.
Yeah.
They are cool little folks up there.
They are.
Chilling.
They are.
They're the reindeer.
Yeah. Okay.
It can be very positive to say to do your own research, but then people get overwhelmed because there's so many cultures that things have happened to, sadly.
Yeah.
So they're why should I care about any one of them?
Yeah.
You don't have to care about all of them. You can just research one.
Yeah, but they have a great way. Do you know how the Saami, look up how the Saami, the ball biting, they bite testicles. So
crazy to me.
Yeah.
Why did you use that as the advertising point for them?
I know our audience. I know what they want. That's a very specific way of sterilizing, or they sterilize the reindeer, so they snip the tube.
I thought it was also like a puberty thing.
Oh, it's like a coming of age ceremony. Isn't it?
Coming of age thing.
It's only women that do.
Yeah. There's a lot to it.
Cultural
Saami experts right here. Look it up. Look it up. They also have a way of singing. You've seen Kaino, the dude that does the hey yo. I'm not gonna do it. Sorry,
I'm sure
that's yoiking.
This is exactly what the Saami Council wanted.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I can't wait to get a letter.
Yeah. Oh god. I love the Saami.
I think
I thought we had a very respectful conversation. And then Nikhil decided to bring up...
I'm trying to bring some interest. Look up yoik and look up ball biting. Well, you might know. I don't. It has a name. Start looking up Gokti, then.
I think it has an official name because I think telling people to just to Google ball biting is not going to lead them in the right direction.
No. But anyways, shout out to the
CBT.
Are there any?
Shut up.
This is for everyone, and maybe someone who's watching on YouTube. Are there any Saami watching? I know there are Norwegians watching. If one of your Saami, can you send in a MogMail with your opinion on this? Because that would be very interesting.
Yes. Shout out to the 2 people who still speak Tel Saami.
Oh god, there's only 2 people left speaking that language.
Maybe if people want to talk about this in a MogMail in a respectful.
Well, we're obviously not gonna.
We're not gonna bring up bad.
Yeah. No. Yeah, but just.
Yeah.
If you, I'd love if we had a Saami viewer.
Yeah. Speakers6iv.com/MogMail. Okay, we definitely. Well, speaking of, we have to read. I know we're running out of time, but we're gonna have to run a little overtime today.
That's
I think.
Fine.
Okay, let's jump into MogMail because we have some left over. So let's go.
MogMail.
This is from, oh god, they included the way to say it.
Mnemosyne Ron.
Mnemosyne Ron. Okay. I began playing this game at 5.1. And so
that's late.
That is late. And I participated live when the Weapons of Werlet, or whatever the story was called, trials came out.
Close enough.
Yeah. Wow. World of Warcraft.
And when 5.3 was released. All in all, between 5.1 and 5.52, there were 4 trials. As far as I understand, the trial story is kind of like the same as with the Raid and Alliance Raid stories, that they are usually side quests.
Sometimes.
In 6.x, though,
normally,
it seems that they had mixed the trial series into the MSQ for the Archfiends.
It's true.
I keep wondering what they will do with the remaining trials. My guess is that at least one of them will be used in 6.4 to conclude Golbez and Fiend's story. But what about the 4th? After thinking, the alternatives I could come up with were as follows. 1, they have 2 MSQ trials in 6.4, like Golbez, and then the Dragon Sister, Voidiarch, and Zeramus. They will save it for 6.5. Sorry, 2. They will save it for 6.5. Or the last MSQ patch of Endwalker to end it with a big... Sorry, not a big bang, but just a bang, before the next expansion. 3, they will use it to... We ran out of tape. They will use it to conclude Path of the 12, or Pandemonium. 4, they will sort of just not do a 4th trial and hope nobody notices, since they already have in some ways shortened the amount of duties over the expansions, mostly in the amount of dungeons. What are your thoughts?
I'll say I would be very... I mean, I expect this to happen, but I would be very disappointed if we just defeat Golbez's next patch. Because it's like a just super quick side story, like, oh lol, Golbez is invading, big scary, and it's over.
Right.
And the only thing we've gained is Gothic Valvedrix, essentially, like 0 or whatever.
You can't, Mela, you can't just say that. That is
you can't say that.
Too small of a reference.
They aren't even here. You're just bullying.
Yeah, at this point it's bullying. Okay, yeah.
That's fine. But like, he's cool, right, Golbez?
Yeah.
He's clearly got a big plan.
Yeah.
He clearly wants to invade Eorzea or whatever. I would want that to be the lead up to the next expansion. And I'm pretty sure he can use, what's her name? Ajdaia. To invade into Mericidia, which is where all the dragons live. And that's where we're going for the next expansion. They can easily use that to pull us into Mericidia or something like that. Don't get rid of Golbez immediately.
Right.
I could see him gone by 6.5, honestly.
I could see him gone by 6.4.
Personally too, I don't want another like reference Final Fantasy villain as like
the main villain.
Yeah, or even like I could see them as a catalyst for whatever the next expansion will be. Whether it's void themed or space, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But
none of the MSQ, like the final MSQ villains of any patch, or not patch, like expansion, has been like a reference villain.
No.
Yes, that's true. I don't want them to start now.
No, I agree.
A little bit close to with Xenos. To Sephiroth, he was a little bit on that.
Well, that's just the style of
that was just
character.
stylized. It wasn't. Yeah.
But like name brand villain of Final Fantasy series. That
you're telling me you don't want to fight Cloud?
Yeah.
Yo, Cloud's
That'd
in
be weird.
7.0. He's the main attack. One-Winged Angel's playing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I know it's the Final Fantasy theme park, but it always feels so.
I'm on your side.
Lame.
I love references. I love seeing a cactuar in the wild.
Yeah.
But I don't like all of the important story things to be plot points that I've already completed in another game. I love the original stuff in 14, and we need more original stuff for future Final Fantasy games. Otherwise, we're going to literally be boomerang our way into like Final Fantasy 20, still having the same bosses every single time.
Yeah. I'd be very it's not good to have like an existing character as like your primary villain in a Final Fantasy game, because it makes it feel like you're playing like a Dissidia game. You know what I mean? Jacked?
Jacked, sorry.
Jacked.
He is jacked. Yeah, that's true.
I thought you were talking about Jack Garland from.
Oh God, no!
That would be amazing.
No,
and he has the phone with him as well. Linkin Park every time he walks away.
Listen. The only time I'd accept them just making like a reference villain if it was Jacked and they have the Jacked cuck scene, like the little cut scene where he's like walking off with your stall or something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, loser. Like in 10.
Yeah.
I'd be down with that.
Honestly, that feels like something they could put in a Hildebrand storyline.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
I'd be so down for that. Make sure Jack can cuck us.
Yeah, maybe they'll add that when they add Blitzball. Well, they're not going to add Blitzball, are they? Your Blitzball Manager.
It's too late for that.
Blitzball Manager 2023.
Blitzball Manager 2024.
2024. Yeah,
they're never adding it.
It's still hope. There's still hope for like a manager type game, I think. Okay. Anyways, thank you.
Thanks, Anemone, Menemesine.
Menemesine. Yeah, Menemesine. Okay. Thank you. We need to read another one. I'm sorry, but we're just not going through them fast enough. So let's.
Do you think that it...
Yes, sir. We can split up the interview in two, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
yes.
right, boy.
Or we'll do that. Okay, here we go. This is from Kamedani from Durandal, and this is why we have to read this, because it starts with, "Hey speakers, Happy New Year." I have two totally unrelated things for this MogMail. One is petty, and one is a discussion I want to hear your opinions on. First, the petty. I don't know if you guys saw, but Awesome Games Done Quick last week. There you go. Dated this. There was a Palace of the Dead. It is more recent. There was a Palace of the Dead run featured.
You made it seem like it was really...
I know.
You made it seem like it was January 1st, but it was actually January 20th.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's not from January 1st. Okay. The run was great.
The AGCQ run was good.
My petty gripe was when the show organizers kept showing the Endwalker Collector's Edition available as a prize, they kept calling the Warrior of Light Ardbert. Am I crazy? The Warrior of Light, featured since 1.0, and Ardbert are two separate people, no? I kept watching the AGDQ stream and going, Warrior of Light, it's not Ardbert, it's the Warrior of Light. My friends tell me I'm petty, but well, it's not Ardbert. I agree. That is wrong, literally the wrong character.
But in fairness, like, not everyone at that organization probably has played the game. They've probably just got it from someone and like, well, this is probably who it is.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
They look exactly the same.
Exactly, they're identical.
What do you
copies.
mean the guy that looks just like him isn't him? That's not Solid Snake. That's Venom Snake.
Yeah.
We better not get them in any Kingdom Hearts figurines to show off.
Yeah.
Anyway, pettiness out of the way. I wanted to hear your opinions on itemization in the game currently. Specifically, I wanted to talk about the 24-man raids. With the even longer time between patches now, I think the 24-man raids dropping tome level gear that is not upgradable is kinda underwhelming. For me, it makes the whole 24-man a run once a week for a coin. If I get glamour or gear from my 3rd, 4th job, great. At this point, I think they should change it so the 24-mans drop max level gear 630 in the current patch. They could even put better/different substats on them to make the gear appealing to raiders. I'd gladly run the 24-mans over and over to collect gear that would substantially benefit my main jobs. Right now, they feel kind of like a weekly one and done.
Yeah, itemization in this game's shit.
Yes.
It's one of the worst MMOs for itemization.
I think Raid will lose if you locked gear behind that by once a week.
Yeah.
But you're gaining others. If you're locking it behind once a week for everyone, then it's equal still. I mean, it's not a great system to have the 630 gear in the Alliance raid as well, because it forces the raiders to do the Alliance raid when they might not want to.
That's true.
But it gives people an alternate way of leveling or gearing up as well.
This is supposed to be a catch-up mechanic. It's not supposed to be like getting you to like max eye level.
No.
Yeah. And these are the catch-up patches too, where it's like
it's a catch-up patch. Maybe they should lock it to once a week, so you can catch up by doing multiple runs.
This is the gear that drops in the Alliance raid is good enough for all the stuff that is not Savage.
Stuff.
You know, like and if you're doing Savage, you're getting gear through Savage. So I think the balance is quite good right now.
It's acceptable. It's just boring.
The raid gear is for broke bitches who don't want to buy the crafted gear. So, you know.
No, the crafted. Which? Oh, you mean the Alliance raid?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll agree with that. I thought you meant like Savage gears. Like no,
no, just like the crap. Like, you know, I want a gear, but I'm broke. I can't spend all that go.
Right.
If you're getting the crafted gear, you're going to be better than the Alliance gear for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're not going to be up to the Savage tier.
But also,
you might be high stats.
I mean, raiders will still do the Alliance raid for the coin.
Yeah,
so they can upgrade the tome gear.
Yeah, because you might be like us and only do 3 out of 4 of them, because you know most people are off every week because they've got a poor tummy or something. So you've got to upgrade your chest and leg pieces because we can't get a P4S.
Mailer is throwing like side swipes left and right to a
what is
someone
wrong
that's
with you?
not here,
it's
and like
funny.
it's so irrelevant
You have
to
to
most
stop.
of the viewers.
We are 8 people, Mela, when we raid. 3 of them are in here. This is for no one. Mela likes like making it sound like he's an elitist prick.
I love it.
Even though we still haven't cleared Savage. Sorry, I just have to like pull you down, Mela. We haven't cleared Savage.
You can never pull me down. We're still on.
We're on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you guys were still on the first.
We're still on the first one. Yeah. We're still trying to figure Carbuncle out.
I was about to be like, damn, you guys kind of suck.
Yeah, we do kind of.
We get together 2 times a week, if we're lucky, for approximately 2 to 3 hours each time.
That's it.
We'd be on the last fight if we were consistent in our 2 days a week. But we have reasons to know that.
Yeah.
But we like being casual. But yeah, itemization in this game, rubbish.
It is rubbish, but what do you mean?
You get a couple of stats which linearly go up. Your item level almost means nothing. It's just a gate to entry for content. That's what it is. The stats are what matters. Every single weapon upgrade is like a plus 100 DPS every single time. Your materia choices quite limited. There is some nuance
more and
to
more
it.
limited.
Yeah.
There's nuance to it for things like Paladin, especially before they messed it up, because skill speed meant you could get the double goring blade and stuff. So there's some classes that have that to it, and I assume there are some DPS classes that have some depth. But realistically, you're just going crit, DH to try and make them as high and equal as possible.
Don't put DH on your healers. Don't fall for that trap.
Absolutely not.
You can't direct hit heal. That's not a thing.
No, that's not a thing.
Just crit them.
But you can do direct hit broil / glare / whatever the DPS skills are for Trojan and
it's more important.
And Sage.
Yeah. Okay, well there you go. Anyways, but I don't think the Alliance raid one is a problem. Anyways, I think that's just working as intended.
I would like them to remove the limit on it earlier.
Oh, like the weekly
because
limit.
It is for alt jobs, and I just don't want to have to get more tomes for an alt job.
True.
Because tomes are for your main job.
Yeah.
Could you imagine there was a best in slot for like, and it was like raid, like a 24-man gear? The RNG to get the best in slot would be.
Sorry, do you not remember the diadem?
I was just thinking about that. The diadem
that
had
was
that.
Not best in slot.
It was best in slot.
No, it was true, but it was also at the end of the patch cycle.
Yeah, and it was so RNG that like you would
it was best in slot and it came out at the same time as the final part of the relic. So the best in slot was beat the Bellic. The beat the Bellic at the end of the batch.
The best in slot beat the Bellic.
We already got the final step. What's it like? What are you gonna? There's nowhere else to go.
Yeah, well, what a kick in the fucking face. You finish your relic. It's like, finally, I have the best weapon in the game at the end of the patch. No, sorry. Go do Diadem forever until you randomly get the best in slot one.
There was a week when the relic was best in slot compared to anything else you could get, and that was a good week.
That was a good week, that. Yeah. Okay, anyways. There you go. Thank you for your MogMail again. Not long to go now. Probably just a few weeks. There will probably be a live letter soon.
Didn't we say... Didn't they announce the date? It was like the 7th of March or the 14th? Or did we just speculate?
We speculated that, yeah.
It'll be the 7th or 14th of March.
There will be an announcement soon, I'm assuming. Hopefully. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sending in your MogMail. We are going to do as much as we can of this interview with our favorite man, Michael Christopher Koji-Fox.
Cute.
Yeah. So let's get into it. We'll probably we are way over time, so let's see how far we go. Okay. Senior translator in Square Enix's localization department, born in the US in the state of Oregon, he taught English at a junior high school in Japan after receiving his teaching license from Hokkaido University of Education. He later joined the localization team at Square, now Square Enix, in April 2003, where he has worked on Final Fantasy XI's English translations for scenario text and item names, and is currently, 2023, the localization director for Final Fantasy XVI. Koji has also been a drummer in the Star Onions, which was a band of 11 staff members.
The Star
Final Fantasy
Onions?
11. Yeah, that's what they were called.
It's a great name.
It's the Primals of 11.
Yeah. And it's way better than the Primals. And Star Onions.
And it's the vocalist and rapper for the Primals, the official band for 14.
The Star Onions? Or does he have a theremin or something?
I don't remember what he played in the Star Onions, but I'm sure someone can find it.
Koji-Fox a drummer for the Primals?
Well,
I don't know.
Because he's good.
Because he's cool now.
Yeah. Plus, they've got such a good they've got such a good singer in the Star Onions, Gyoki, that he couldn't take that role.
Yeah, exactly.
Love the Star Onions.
Yeah, there are pictures of them in the Star Onions online.
Onions.
It's good.
So stupid.
Okay, let's jump into it.
Mean.
Learning Japanese to play video games. I'd like to start off. So again, this is an in-house interview. This is from the We Are Vanadil interview series, celebrating the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy XI.
Yeah, 20th.
We only talk about 11 now.
I'd like to start off by asking how you became interested in Japan. Koji says, I'm from Oregon, but I used to watch this Japanese TV drama in the 80s called From Oregon with Love when I was in America.
Whoa.
They probably aired the show on our local TV station because it was set in Oregon. I love like the local TV dudes going, we need to find a show. Let's just look for something with Oregon, and it's like, ooh, that's good.
In English.
I love this name.
Hey,
Oregon Kata-ai.
It was probably really cheap to syndicate.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. The show had this visual effect where the entire screen faded to white whenever they cut to a commercial, and I was shocked, like, what's going on? Why is it turning white? From Oregon to Love, there's an explanation. From Oregon to Love, with Love, is a drama series that aired from October to December 1984. Wow, what a short run.
That was a long period of time.
The series was filmed in Oregon over an extended period. So it wasn't the content of the show, but the whiteout that got your attention, Koji. That's right. All the American shows I'd seen had faded to black for as long as I could remember, so it must have seemed new to me. What a weird thing to get stuck on, huh?
Yeah.
I don't remember the drama at all, but I still remember that visual effect. I was probably about 10 years old, and for some reason I thought, wow, Japan is amazing. Yeah, they fade to white before a commercial.
What the hell?
Whoa.
Was that your first exposure to Japanese content? Koji says, From Oregon with Love was probably the first Japanese thing I was exposed to while aware of its origins. I'd watched Speed Racer and Super Sentai shows, Japanese superhero shows, prior to that, but I wasn't aware they were from Japan.
That's fair.
And again, explanation. There's going to be lots of this because Koji-Fox just keeps bringing out references. Speed Racer is an animated television series about automobile Automobile Racing, which aired from April 1967. Automobile. The series was produced by Tatsunoko Productions and originally aired in Japan under the title March Go Go Go.
Is that really what it was called? And
Go Go Go.
I thought it was Speed Racer over there too. Oh
yeah.
shit!
No, it wasn't. Everyone should watch the live-action Speed Racer movie. It's good.
It's good.
Okay.
It's better than it to be.
As for games, what was the first title you played? Koji says, the first video game console I ever played was the Atari, back when I was in the upper grades of elementary school. Then the NES was released when I was in 6th grade, and Santa got it for me for Christmas.
Oh.
I remember there was a message that said Action Set, and it came with Duck Hunt and Super Mario Bros. From there, I got more and more addicted to video games. I bought games with my own pocket money, and of course, I bought the SNES, or SNES.
I'm surprised that Santa was willing to give Duck Hunt. It's a bit of violent video game.
Hey, look, he'll say Duck Hunt really quickly.
Don't.
Atari is a series of video game consoles developed...
No, I don't think you need to explain what the Atari, the NES, and the SNES
there might be. There could be a Zoomer that just tuned in. This is very Zoomer-phobic. Atari is a series of video game consoles developed by the American company of the same name. Notable consoles include the Atari Video Computer System, Atari 2600, and the Atari 5200. Never heard of the Atari 5200.
Time for this?
The Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, is a video game console released in North America in 1985 and Europe in 1986. The NES is a redesigned international version of the family computer Famicom, released in Japan in 1983. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, is a video game console released in North America in 1991. The SNES was released in Japan as the Super Famicom. It does not specify when it released in Europe. That's interesting.
That is strange.
Did your love of games influence your career decisions later on? Koji says, it did. By the time I was in high school and thinking about my future, I wanted to work with video games, which I'd always played and loved. Another influence I had was the programming class I took in high school, where I learned BASIC. One day, we were assigned with making a game in groups of 4, and my group ended up working on a game about going to Las Vegas.
Oh my God, he got to live out his game dreams.
That sounds like quite the pragmatic idea for a project. Koji says, when we got around to making the game, the 3 other members made minigames for roulette, blackjack, and poker. As for me, I made a minigame involving stealing when the player ran out of money. If the player pressed the space bar at the right timing, they'd succeed and be able to keep playing. But failing meant they were arrested by the police, and it was game over.
That's brilliant.
What a game.
I'm gonna play it.
The graphics also turned out nicely, so I submitted the game thinking I'd get an A, but I ended up with a B-, which made me think I wasn't good at programming. I reckon only programmers could get into the game industry, so that's where I gave up on my dream of working on games, at least at the time. For a B-? That's still salvageable. You can.
Not fair.
That's so real, Koji. I remember getting like B's and stuff in programming. I was like, well, my dreams are over.
Yeah.
Time to get
because you have to
into the real world.
Yeah. Back then, game planners weren't a specialized profession, and programmers handled everything. So from there, how did you end up in Japan? Koji says, aside from video games, I was also interested in learning languages. I studied French in junior high for 3 years, and during my first year of high school, I even went to a local university to study French.
Oh, you poor thing.
The following year, however, that university stopped offering French classes. I wanted to continue my studies and asked my father if I could take French classes at another bigger university in our area, but he turned me down because it was too expensive. So that's when I became interested in learning Japanese, says the interviewer. Koji says, that's right.
Wrong!
Wrong, I studied Spanish for 10 years.
And then I only learned Japanese last year.
Yeah. The NES came from Japan.
Actually, I don't even speak it.
The NES came from Japan, and many games were also created there. I thought that if I learned Japanese, I could play Japanese games ahead of everyone and boast about it to my peers. Which games did you play? Koji says, back then, import stores had these magazines that listed Japanese distributors who were able to ship overseas. So if you sent a letter and a check to those addresses, their games would arrive within a few months later.
Check!
Yeah. One of the games I got...
Really?
Yeah, it's the old-timey days.
Really... No, not even that. It just feels really unsafe.
Yeah.
Just, like, throw a check into the mail and hope you'll get something back.
That's just how it was.
Yeah, I remember those like order forms at the bottom of things, and you'd have to put your direct debit details or whatever.
There was either that, or you had to do like a wire. You had like
a wire transfer.
Yeah, a wire transfer.
Banker's draft.
Yeah.
Western Union money transfer, baby.
Yeah. One of the games I got was The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Although I was eager to play, I had no idea where to go next without understanding Japanese. I really wanted to finish Ocarina of Time, so that became a reason for me to study Japanese very seriously. Learning Japanese through video games wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but my knowledge was biased towards game terminology. For example, I couldn't even write basic kanji characters, but I could write the kanji character for axe for some reason. Okay.
I order food in restaurants, but my health is low.
Also real. Kanji is fucking shit. I hate it.
For the Zoomers, we just made a reference to something here for the Zoomers. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is an action-adventure game released in 1998 for the Nintendo 64. It was the first entry in the Legend of Zelda series with 3D graphics and introduced a number of gameplay innovations. You're welcome.
That's so vague.
Yeah.
It introduced a number of gameplay innovations.
Yeah. It must have been hard when you first started studying Japanese. Koji says, many people would probably give up when they stumble into kanji characters, but I liked studying languages, so I was able to stick with it while having fun.
Like you pegged me, Koji. Not like that.
Becoming an English teacher in Japan.
Wait for FanFest.
When did you first visit Japan? Koji says, when I graduated from high school, my father offered to pay for me to travel abroad as a gift.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's really...
That's very nice.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Daddy Warbucks, apparently.
Yeah. So I chose to go to Japan. In the US, the school year ends in June and begins in September.
Just isn't it? Oh, just actually no.
Oh, interesting.
I think
Our
July.
Oh, is that how it is over there for
Our
you?
school year ends in August.
No,
and begins
July and begins in September.
Yeah.
We get 6 weeks off.
Ours ends in December and starts in February. It's really good.
No, wait. We start in August.
Oh, wow. We start the school year at the start of the year. Crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
Free December to February.
Where we have summer break.
February to December.
God, I haven't. It's been a while since I went to. Yeah. Sorry, school starts in August and then it ends in
August.
It must be June then. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, school year ends in June and begins in September. So I spent about a month of my summer as a homestay student.
It begins in September and ends in June.
School year ends in June and begins in September. So I spent about a month of my summer.
The other way around.
Oh, as a homestay student, I'm still thinking about when school years end here. A homestay student in 4 different cities. Oh no, Yoshikawa in Saitama Prefecture. How do you say that? Nyuzen in Toyama Prefecture. Sekigara in Gifu Prefecture. And Hichi in Oita Prefecture.
Oh, you're correct.
Wow, you stayed in a lot of different places. Koji says each city had an exchange program hosted by a teacher from a local junior high school, and I got to meet with Japanese junior high students. As I watched those teachers teaching English in class, I grew interested in pursuing a teaching career myself, and decided to become a teacher in Japan. As an American, one of my options was to become an assistant language teacher, but I was more interested in becoming a full-fledged teacher for Japanese students. There weren't many instances of non-Japanese people around me who became teachers in Japan, and I didn't know what to do, but I was determined to do it, and continued my Japanese studies in college. Then after about 2 years, I left college in the US and moved to Nagasaki to study for the National Center Test for University Admissions to get into a Japanese university.
I've got to say, I'm jealous of his...
drive.
Yeah.
He's determined to do everything and he gets it done.
Yes.
Well, he gave up on programming.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, other than that, I've given up pretty much. I mean, I just breathe now.
Yeah.
That's about all I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
I tried coding once in Lua and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I was okay. I mean, I did computer science at university and I still never pursued a career in it.
Yeah.
It's too
that's crazy. You're probably the best coder between I can't speak for Lakil, but like the rest of us also did coding, and yet you still didn't choose to pursue it.
Yeah.
No, I tried a bit and it was too competitive, and then I thought, well, whatever.
More like if you bought my ass.
Okay. Anyways, that's what we call that's what we call the common university entrance test nowadays. Koji says, I figured my first attempt would end in failure since I'd only studied in Japan for about half a year. After all, the questions were all written in Japanese, not to mention the US and Japan teach different spectrums of world history. Specifically, you learn about European history in the US, but not so much about Chinese history, which makes up almost half of the world history taught in Japan.
That's fair.
And of course, there were kanji characters all over the test. Because of that, I figured it's not a big deal if I fail this time. I'll study hard for another year and try again. But I ended up passing. The 3 subjects were world history, math, and English. And since I probably got a perfect score in English, that probably helped me push me just barely over the threshold.
The resilience to say, I'll study hard for another year and try again is very impressive.
Right?
Yeah. I am so defeatist.
Immediately
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
Not me. I'd start living under a freeway or something.
Yeah.
This is my one chance.
Yeah.
If this doesn't succeed, if I don't succeed here, my dreams are over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Already thinking that they're over even while you're writing the test.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. English is your native language, after all, Koji says.
Thank you, interviewer.
Thank you, interviewer. But even if you know, that's how you know it's a Japanese interview. But even if you pass the center test, there was still the university entrance exam waiting for me. Not only did I have to take a test, but also write a paper and appear in an interview. I wasn't expecting to pass the center test in the first place, so I wasn't really prepared for all that. But I passed again and made it into university.
Did you have to do a test? Did you have to do an interview to get into your university?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not me, baby. Community college. Hell yeah. They take anybody.
I mean, I went to a real university, but it might as well have been a community college. So,
from there, I attended Hokkaido University of Education for 4 years and obtained my teaching license. Then I took the teacher employment exam, which is extremely difficult to pass. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to pass if even Japanese people have a hard time. But then I passed again. Goodness me. Wow. In fact,
this guy is just amazing.
In fact, I was apparently the first American ever to pass the teacher employment exam in Hokkaido. After that
doesn't surprise me because I cannot imagine there are many English speakers or Americans that are doing the teacher employment exam in Hokkaido.
Right.
Unless they love it cold.
Right.
If when he was doing this, if the JET program was a thing, because that's
Jet's
not hard.
New,
Jet didn't exist back then, and also that's very different. Jet's very entry level. You don't even have to speak Japanese to do Jet.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
You go over and it's 1 to 5 years of being an ALT.
Right.
Well paid though.
Yeah. After that, I was assigned to a junior high school in Hakodate. Shout out. Hakodate. Where I was an assistant teacher for about 2 years. And in my 3rd year, I became a homeroom teacher.
Whoa.
When I visited families for parent-teacher conferences, everyone was surprised to see a foreigner show up at their home.
Disgusting.
You have to go to their house? They don't come to you?
That's scary.
I think that's because I think I've seen that in the anime. So
Parent-teacher conferences, and the teacher comes home? Yeah, that's weird.
And
usually here the parents
has a
there.
drink with your mother, and then suddenly they're now calling themselves father-in-law.
I don't think I would want my teacher in my house. No, not my teacher's in my house.
I feel so invaded. Like,
yeah.
Imagine if a teacher asked your parents to see your room.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Imagine if your teacher beat you on the way home. Not like that, like beat you up, but beat you to get into your house. And then you got in just after a hard day of school.
And your teacher was already there.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't escape you.
You're incredibly fluent now, but how was your Japanese when you first moved to Japan? Koji says, before I moved, I could speak some Japanese, and I also loved kanji characters, so I was able to read and write them.
To love kanji. Freak.
Yeah. However, I hadn't had many opportunities to use Japanese in my everyday life. I had many Japanese friends in the US, but they were there to study English, so I didn't really get to practice my Japanese with them. I see, so you didn't start using Japanese in your everyday life until you moved to Japan. Why is that even in there? Like,
what opportunities would you have to use Japanese
in everyday life
in Oregon?
He orders one of those the lamp hot dogs or whatever, but in Japanese.
No, just go to your local Sakura, Japan. You go like Hajimemashite. Watashi would like a teriyaki chicken.
Yeah.
Daijobu desu.
Yeah, that's exactly.
They would get out a Sudoku right there, Rollo, and complete it for you.
Okay.
Talking to the Mexican guy behind the counter making it. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Incidentally, the Hokkaido University of Education had about 5 branch campuses throughout Hokkaido, and I enrolled in the Hakodate branch to put myself in a Japanese-only environment. There were plenty of foreigners in the urban areas, so it wasn't uncommon for stores and facilities to have staff who could speak English. And even within Hokkaido, for example, if I so choose to go to Sapporo, I would have gone to the entertainment district and not have studied at all. So I wanted somewhere that was more rural. That's how I ended up choosing Hakodate. And I rarely had interactions with other foreigners during my time, in university. So you could say that I was immersed in Japanese for 4 years.
Me having a stroke?
No, my computer is like moving the page.
That's so dedicated to be able to just like say, I'm going to put myself in a really like rural environment. I could take the easy route out and go to choose to place myself in a city where I'll be able to speak to people in English quite frequently. But no, I'm going to take the hard mode.
He's so dedicated.
I know. I understand that feeling though. I would love to immerse myself somewhere. Just not even know the language. Just go deep in there. You know what I mean? Just see what happens.
But what if it goes wrong?
I guess I die. I don't know.
I wonder how often he was asked this, because when I went to Hokkaido, train station briefly stopped. The train had to stop at like a very small train station for some reason, and I went to go get a meal from the local convenience store, and the first thing they asked me is like, "Why are you here?"
God.
Yeah, get the fuck out, Georgie.
Yeah.
Not like that. More like why would a foreigner choose to come here of all places?
I mean, I get that in a small town.
Yeah.
But there's such an aggressive thing to it. Why are you here?
No, they didn't use that tone.
All right. Even after I became a teacher, there were only Japanese people around me, so I never used English outside of the classroom. That meant I practically spent 7 years without using English in my everyday life, which I'd say helped my Japanese skills considerably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you ended up teaching English after all. Koji says, that's right. I was also the advisor of the basketball club.
Okay.
It must have been hard to be a homeroom teacher at a junior high school, considering how kids are going through puberty at that age.
It doesn't explain why he was picked as the advisor for the basketball club. Do you know this story?
No. Oh, we've read something about this before.
Yeah, it's because he's tall.
Yeah.
They asked him to be the advisor because he's tall.
Yeah, right. Koji says, it certainly was. Not to mention I was teaching the second-year students who were the rowdiest, as opposed to the first years who were still innocent, or the third years who were studying for their high school entrance exams.
Still innocent.
But I loved teaching, so it was a lot of fun. On the other hand, it was also very stressful. Could you elaborate? Koji says, the curriculum has certain rules set by the Japanese Ministry of Education, so even if you disagreed with the English they taught in Japan, you still had to teach according to those rules. If you want to change the rules, you must join the Ministry of Education. And doing so would mean you couldn't be a teacher anymore. I still wanted to continue teaching despite my feelings about the system, but I had various conflicts on my mind stemming from my advisory role for the basketball club and friction with other teachers. In the midst of all that stress, one relief I had at home was playing video games, as I'd always loved to do since childhood. Even as an adult, video games were still as fun as ever. I think maybe we should wrap here, or do we want to start?
I think you should do the next section, because the next section is the last part of the first part of the interview.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that then. All right, I wanted to play the Final Fantasy XI beta test, no matter what. That's the headline. So video games helped you with your mental health at the time. Koji says, back then, I must have been playing either Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy X-2. The setting of those games wasn't exactly what I wanted, since I was more a fan of high fantasy. So I was curious what the next game in this series would be like, and was really excited to find out that Final Fantasy XI was going to be an MMORPG with a high fantasy setting.
Sorry, just like imagine being a fan of high fantasy and like say 10, like okay, it's already like a little bit off, but then you get to 10 too.
Oh, yeah.
What's this garbage?
Why am I massaging this person for 10 minutes in a weird minigame?
Yeah. I'd never played online games before, but playing with other people sounded like a lot of fun. The idea of being able to play with people from all over the world while living in Japan really set my imagination on fire.
I immediately started using English only again.
Sounds like you had the same expectations for 11 that many gamers had at the time. Koji says, yes, I did. I thought, I have to play this, no matter what, and I immediately applied for the beta test. That said, I figured the odds were too high for me to be selected anyway, so I didn't buy the PlayStation BB unit that was apparently required to play. But then I ended up getting selected for the beta, and the metal binder containing the manual was delivered to my house in a fancy black box.
Oh, I wish I had that. That sounds like a cool bit of history.
Yeah. So you got in yet again. Yeah, it's true. Again.
Koji's so lucky.
Koji says, I was eager to play immediately since I was selected, but of course I didn't have a BB unit. Even when I rushed to the Sony Computer Entertainment, now Sony Interactive Entertainment website, it was listed as sold out. Through trial and error, I eventually got a hold of a BB unit, and after upgrading my home internet from dial-up to ADSL, I finally had the environment to play 11. Naturally, once I installed 11 and started playing, I became obsessed.
He was not ready to win to get access to this beta.
No. There certainly were a lot of obstacles to overcome to play 11 back then. Did you go straight from the beta version to the full version? Koji, of course. I also played the full version of 11 every night. It was around that time that I quit my teaching job for real-life reasons, and as I was wondering what to do next, I stumbled across a recruitment ad for Square's localization team. I had no knowledge... Oh, his luck is about to strike again.
Yeah.
I had no knowledge of localization at the time, but I figured I could handle translations since I spoke English, graduated from a Japanese university, and had teaching experience. And since I liked Square's games, I casually decided to apply. Sounds like it was a turning point in your life.
Yeah, another one.
Koji says, the application process included a localization assignment, which was to write a story of roughly 1,000 words featuring characters from previous Final Fantasy games. My story was about Shadow from Final Fantasy VI, and how he gets spirited away to Harajuku, a district known for Japanese youth culture. I always
tried to say that as in a Norwegian
accent. Because it looked vaguely Nordic, so it fucked up my brain. A district known for Japanese youth culture and fashion, and mistakes a darkly tanned girl for an Amazon.
Gangaru.
Oh god. I figured I wouldn't be picked with that kind of story, but I ended up being accepted.
I can't imagine like that being a common... I imagine he got picked because that sounds really unique. I don't imagine many of the like native Japanese like people would have written that.
Yeah.
No.
That seems to happen to you all the time, Laughs.
It does.
Koji says, I was then called to Square's headquarters, which was in Meguro at the time, for further testing and an interview. That was the first time I did translation work. The test involved translating conversations, item descriptions, and terminology from Parasite Eve and past Final Fantasy titles. And I remember looking words up in a dictionary as I translated. Aptitude tests like that are done remotely through computers nowadays, but back then, everything was handwritten. What did they ask you?
I could not imagine having to...
What?
I could not imagine doing that handwritten, because like I did a Japanese translation class in university, and like to not have the access of information that I have now would have been terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I had to translate stuff from my parents from English or Spanish to English and like write letters for them.
Yeah.
As like a child, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Como se dice fucking donde es el dinero? I don't know.
I mean, thankfully I didn't have to translate it, but I have to do that for my mother all the time when she has to do things with government agencies.
Right. What did they ask you during the interview? Koji says, they asked me if there were any games I was currently playing, and I immediately answered Final Fantasy XI. As it turned out, they happened to be looking for a translator for Final Fantasy XI. Since I played 11, had lived in Japan for a while, graduated from a Japanese university, and could speak both Japanese and English, they must have thought, we could put this guy to work immediately. Moreover, one of the people interviewing me was leading the translation of Final Fantasy XI. During the interview, I'd emphasized just how much I liked 11, so perhaps they thought I was a good pick.
This has made me grow to ever so slightly dislike him.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
He's just the luckiest man, I think.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Well, I think it's a combination of luck and very hard work.
Well, obviously, he does work very hard. He's earned his place. Upwards. Yeah.
He's a Nepo baby, failed upwards. Yeah. I know it.
Yeah.
They saw his middle name.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
Put in the work, and you'll be rewarded.
That's it. That's true. That's it for today. We'll continue this then. We're supposed to do this entire interview today, but we are about halfway through the interview, and we are 24 minutes into the post show. So we're going to continue this next week. So make sure you tune in for that. Hopefully there will be no more controversies next week. No more.
One more. Just give us one more.
Okay, one more.
A funny one.
A funny one. A funny one will be good. Like one, here's one.
Another billboard.
A billboard, and it turns out it was Yoshi P who made it, and it's got his real left butt cheek on it. So that's a cool story to cover next week. Hope that happens. All right, that's it for today. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfHeidel, and youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, ! Discord in chat if you can join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, links in the description. If you're watching live, like I said, post show, so make sure you catch that. If not, we'll see you next week. Bye.